Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Are you tired of grinding away to make money, feeling like you need to clone yourself to make your business a success? I know, I was once there too, working 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week with no me time and totally overwhelmed. I knew there had to be an easier and more fun way to make massive money. And that's when I discovered passive income. Fast forward years later, and now I consistently make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year while I sleep and with little of my time. My Lord, is this a freeing and empowering feeling. It's my mission and passion to teach all of you to do the same. So I created the exclusive ProjectME Passive Income Posse, where I directly teach you how to incorporate passive income streams into your life and business. If you desire the same financial freedom I've created, message me on Instagram or Facebook at ProjectME with Tiffany, and I will send you the group application requirements. We're keeping this group small so everyone gets customized guidance and attention. All right, now back to today's episode. Hey, welcome to the podcast and posse, ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. So should you advertise on Facebook? How much should you spend? What kind of picture should I use? Is it worth it? Does it work? How much can I make? I get so many of these questions all the time, and most of my answers are the same, but every single business is different. But since I get asked about Facebook ads incessantly, I decided to bring on a top expert for you. So today I have on Lorell Lane. She's a Facebook ad expert and the founder of the Social Sales Lab. It's an online program helping entrepreneurs scale their business using Facebook ads. So what's up, girl?
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, here's how I found you. Okay. And I knew I needed to have a Facebook ad expert. Now, in full disclosure, I've spent over $1 million of other people's money doing Facebook ad campaigns, but in corporate America since Facebook ads came out. That's a very different play than it is when we're talking about smaller businesses, online entrepreneurs, personal brands. It's a different play. So I wanted to make sure I found, an expert who could speak to that, because that's who my audience is. Sure, I can share some overall tips, but what really makes sense for a personal brand is totally different from a giant pharmaceutical company, right?
Absolutely. Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about your background. I know you worked a lot with a lot of TV stations, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I actually started out in corporate America for about 7 years or so. I was selling television ad campaigns. So that was my gig. I loved it. Did very well. I worked in Miami, Orlando, New York City. My job basically was to create ad campaigns and sell them to major corporations. So I've worked for Univision, NBC, Viacom, a lot of companies like that. And my job was to plan out their marketing campaigns. So with that being said, I noticed a lot of my clients were moving over, everything was shifting to digital. So mind you, this was like even 5 years ago where it was still almost a taboo in that space. Like, what should I do online? Should I dabble into the Facebook space? So I began to help them there. And when I left corporate, I said, you know what? I want to help entrepreneurs. I want to help women who, want to start their own business or maybe have a business and they're just struggling to really put themselves out there.
So with the great question I get it at least once a day in my DMs. How do I know when the right time is for me to use Facebook ads? So basically, should I use Facebook ads? What's your answer to that? I know it's super generic question, but.
No, I love that question. Everyone and anyone who has something to sell, this is my motto, should be on Facebook ads. Facebook ads can seem very intimidating to someone who has no idea, how the hell to even start. Like they probably have tried to open it up and they like look like hieroglyphics, so they shut it off and they're like, no, I'm not doing this. But my mission is to help as many entrepreneurs and small business owners understand that it's a self-serve platform. Okay. Obviously, you can hire an agency like how I first started consulting. That was what I did for corporations. But then I realized individuals can do this. If you're a small business owner, you should have full control of your marketing. And if you have anything to sell, even if you've just started your business, you should open up Facebook, business.facebook.com, the original dashboard, and you should be using that to generate business. Just because simply has anyone who has something to sell, your clients are on there. Now, I do tell people if you're selling a high ticket item or service or product, there are strategies to this. You can create a funnel. You're not going to go out there and post an ad about maybe a $3,500 couch, but there's a way that you can still create new business from Facebook. But everyone is on Facebook, and there's no reason. It's so cost effective. There's no reason any business owner should not be on there.
It's really scary for people who are not yet making that much money in their business, or maybe they're affiliate marketer or network marketer, or, they have a course, or they're just not making enough money yet. And it's scary to press that publish button, on Facebook ads. So like, is there a minimum ad spend where you'll see like some results?
Absolutely. So although it is scary, excuse me, I'm not going to, kind of throw that to the side. It is scary. I get it. But the reason why Facebook ads is it's just so incredibly powerful is because you really don't need a lot of money to start up. Compared to television ad campaigns, it was different. You had to have multi-million-dollar budgets to really begin to see those results, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars. With Facebook, anyone can do it. $5 to $10 a day is my go-to ad set for almost any one of my clients. Even my corporate clients, when we're starting a new campaign, I always suggest starting out with $5 to $10 a day to test your audience, to learn, especially if it's a cold audience. So with that being said, a new business owner definitely can start off with $5 to $10 a day and still begin to see results. Even if you have a high ticket service or product, for example, of a course, you're not going to push your course in the original ad that your client sees. You're going to, reel them in with some sort of top of the line funnel, maybe an offer, a free download, a lead magnet, a webinar, whatever that is, but you can still attract these people and generate business from it.
I think that is a misconception that a lot of people have, is that, there's two that I see all the time. One is, I post about, let's just use like an e-course for an example. I just post about my e-course for $497. I use Facebook ads to maybe boost that post, or I create a, Facebook campaign direct to buying that course. And, oh, Tiffany, I didn't sell any. Well, yeah, no shit. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. I go over all of this, obviously, with my students and my clients, but that is the number one. Actually, let's go back. The number one rule is don't boost ever, period. It's not biased. It's a proven, I don't know anyone who has gotten a result from boosting. So if you are out there and you've, decided to take one of your posts from your business page and you want to, throw a couple dollars and never see it again, go ahead and boost. You're not going to get any results. It's really meant for reach. And reach, it's going to ask you, like mile radius or location, and it's always going to start off with a circle surrounding those who already like your business page, which, especially if you're new, no offense, they're more than likely your friends and family. We don't care. You could call them up and ask them to buy what you have to offer. We're looking for new people who are qualified, who want what you have, and who will buy it. But that's for the boosting. The other part, when it comes to a direct ad, anything over, I'd say even $100, you never want to start out with presenting that offer to a cold audience. There are other high-level strategies that you can use, like if they're warmer audiences, if you're retargeting possibly, but a cold audience, a brand new, fresh newbie to Facebook ads, you never want to present them with that high-ticket product. Now, if you're selling, low-ticket items, e-commerce, I do have e-commerce businesses as well. $10, $20, even $50, possibly. You can run that. You can run an ad to that and you'd see success. But it's just not strategic to run a $497 e-course ad. You're just going to blow money and not get the results you want. You really want to warm up your audience.
And people don't like hearing this answer because we're in this instant gratification, society. It's like, well, I just want to like get them to the damn point. It's kind of like going on a date and being like, I want 2 kids by the time I'm 35 and a house in the suburbs, okay? And it's like the first date and the guy's like running for the hills.
Exactly. And I use the example of like, if anyone's ever shopping for a car, okay, when you go into the lot, what do you want to do first? You want to go around, show me what you got. I want to see what options there are. I want to see what sales you have, what kind of value, what makes this brand different. They like to show you, they've got it down. Salespeople, you already know, like you want to learn how to sell something, go to a car salesman. They will take you to every one of their top of the line vehicles and show you every reason why you need to buy from them before bringing you inside and pushing some numbers with you. That's how you want to present yourself, regardless what you're selling. So one reason why I decided to shift over to, the entrepreneur world a few years ago was because I learned that we can translate those corporate strategies that I was using for my top clients. Although we were using multi-million-dollar budgets, those same strategies can apply to small business owners, to online business owners, to entrepreneurs, to realtors. I work with a lot of real estate agents. You have your own business, and it's the same way. You're not going to walk up to a stranger and say, hey, I've got this $450,000 house. Do you want to come look at it with me? Or are you going to kind of build that relationship? So it's the same concept with Facebook ads. And it may be hard to hear from, being an online business owner who's struggling to generate sales and they just want to see that cash money. I get it. But you're going to get more business and you're going to lose way less money if you just set it up correctly the first time.
And I want it to be clear for people who might not be familiar what she means by warming up when you're using ads. So an example, tell me if this would be a good example, right? You're running an ad campaign for a free training that you're doing, right? Some free training.
Exactly.
And you have to sign up, for the free training, meaning you have to give your name and email in order to get the link for the free training, right? And then on that now the whole purpose of the ad campaign is to get as many people as possible signed up for the free training. You're getting their email addresses for your email list. And then if you do it right, about 50% of them will actually show up to your live training. And then you better have some damn thing to sell at the end of your training.
Yes. Nothing irks me more than those that say, oh, well, do I have to sell them then or just give them value? Yes, you're giving them value to show them what you can offer, a glimpse into what you can really, provide to them. And this is a business. So, yeah, I mean, the webinar registration, even I use it obviously to this day in my business as well. All of my students more than likely have come through an ad that has presented them with a really valuable free masterclass. And it usually lives in the link in my bio. It's all over my website. I'm always constantly promoting that because that's how my email list will constantly be growing passively. Okay. And that's what anyone should be doing. And this applies to so many businesses, even sales professionals. Like I said, real estate agents, they do very well when they kind of shift their brains to say, well, I just have this one house I need to sell, or I just want to get someone in. Yeah, but who are you building? Get some leads generating, behind the scenes for you consistently, because you can always have some list to fall back on to sell to, instead of just relying on that one in the moment or straight direct to the sale. So a webinar obviously is a great choice. Also a lead magnet that can work for almost any business. A one sheet, a free PDF, a download, providing some valuable, but I always say make sure it's creative, not the typical, 5 steps to buying a house. Like everyone does that. But, what makes your offer unique? What makes you unique? Dig into your personal brand a little bit and really use that personality with your lead magnet, which is, like I said, a free PDF download, and run an ad to that. $5 or $10 a day, you can get a ton of leads in a day with just a small budget that you can then sell to later on.
Now, how do people know? I mean, obviously you can Google all the things, right? There's tons of trainings online, or you can actually get a legit training and do her, the social sales lab like actual course and go right to the source. So we'll make sure in show notes that all of that is linked so you guys can easily access that. But how do people who are new to using, let's say, Facebook Business Manager, like you said, you go in there and it's enough to give someone a rash. It's like, what the hell? How,
Absolutely.
I think the reason why so many people boost, and also why Facebook also encourages that, is you're pressing right like one button. So it's like, oh, this is easy.
Yes. It's so funny that you say that, because I tell people all the time, don't fall for the trap. It is like a one-click thing. Even that can overwhelm people. And again, obviously, I always say how my goal is to translate the big business strategies right to the small business. However, I make it extremely comprehensive for I don't care if you're a student of mine or not. If you follow me at all on social media, you're going to see all of the ways that I make Facebook ads. It's like I'm peeling back the layers. You can do this. It's okay. Don't get overwhelmed by all of the different options that they have. Use that to empower your marketing. Take control of your marketing. It's okay. It's not as hard as it may seem. And again, that's how the boosting like algorithm, I feel like, is set up. It's to make people almost fall into the trap of just click a couple buttons and you've got this. When in reality, it's going to hurt you, because a couple of buttons is not enough to get you any sales, honey. And if that's what you're trying to do, that's not the way. So you should just really take the time to invest in yourself and educate yourself the right way from someone who makes it easy to understand the Facebook Business Manager. And also, one thing to point out, most people have one business, at least to start, that they want to sell. So that's what you should focus on. What elements in Facebook dashboard can help your one business? If you're looking at everything, this is going to be so overwhelming. If you're looking for leads, there's an objective for that. If you're looking for conversions, which is what I always promote for people to use first, because you can generate that download, that contact, someone to take action on your site at all. Even if you're just looking for someone to, straight up purchase a low ticket item, that's fine. But focus on what your goal for your business is, because you can easily get overwhelmed otherwise.
What gets so convoluted for people, even if they have taken some time to educate themselves, right? Is, okay, well, is it better for me to do impressions? Should I do clicks? Should I do conversions? Like, how is there a way to be able to know what is really the most effective?
Yes. So in my particular experience, I teach all of my students, very high level, obviously, but start off with traffic if you have a high ticket item. Start off with generating traffic, and if you're going after a cold audience. So let's say you're not importing like your existing, contact list or anything like that. Just straight newbie material. And you're like, I want to get sales. The way that you're going to get higher conversions is by driving that traffic first from people that have the interest in what you may have to offer. Bringing them to your site will automatically pre-qualify them. If you go straight for a purchase and you go straight for a conversion of that sort, you're going to spend a lot more money before you get that sale, because Facebook is literally pulling people who have the behavioral pattern of purchasing. But most people will not purchase a $500 product upon the first click. So it's all based on a funnel. I 9 times out of 10, corporate, student, whichever, we start off with traffic and then we'll optimize that traffic. But at least, you've got quality people who are actually interested in what subject you're even, selling on.
Do you recommend people doing a lookalike audience?
Absolutely.
So can you just talk briefly about what that is for people who don't know?
Yes. Lookalike audiences are when you take an existing set of people, let's just say, breaking it down really simple. If you have a pixel set up on your website, which I know some people may or may not know what a pixel is, some people may or may not have that set up. If you don't, please make sure you do your due diligence and set that up on your website. That pixel will capture all of the data on your website and allow you to start collecting people's, not necessarily their contact information, but just all of the people who have landed on your site. You can now duplicate those people to create a whole new set of people who would be interested in what you have to offer. And the way that works is Facebook is identifying people with the same behavioral patterns or online, online habits that those people have. The interests, just the patterns, the habits of how they maneuver around the online space. And another way you can use lookalike audiences is with an existing contact list. So I always tell people, if you have, a list of past clients or even past leads, you can upload that into Facebook and have them create a lookalike audience for you to generate a new set without having to go in and start a new cold audience campaign with new interests and find people all over. They will do the heavy work for you. So I always recommend to use lookalikes.
Love that explanation. So another question that I get all the time is, okay, what do I need to do in my ad to make it, so to speak, the most clickable? So let's start with, how about we start with an image? What are some huge no-nos and some solid direction?
Yes. So when it comes to crafting your message and crafting your ad, I have a special terminology, a special method that I use and that I actually share with all of my students in my free masterclass. So it's called the cake method. I won't go into depth with it, but it'll give you the exact step-by-step of how to ensure that your ad will convert, starting from the image to the copy, the caption. In a nutshell, you need to make sure that your ad is relevant. The photo needs to be relevant to your consumer, not necessarily to you. Even as a personal brand, I'm not going to, be a hypocrite. I do use my own photo when I'm appealing to people who want the lifestyle that I exude, right, that I have, right? So as a personal brand, which I encourage almost any business owner to create their personal brand, unless they're hiding, behind it for some strategic reason, using your photo is good if it can relate to your audience. If you're really focused on just your product and what you have to sell, that product needs to be relatable to what your audience wants, right? So let's just use an example for home. If you're a realtor, you're selling a home. Are you going to post a photo? Actually, this may tick off a couple people because they do this a lot. Are you going to post a photo of a physical home and show them, what great roof panels it has and, how solid, hard rock the door is? Or are you going to show them sort of what their life can be like if they were to now move into a new affluent area and purchase a beautiful home and maybe the community? You want to really provide that transformation. That's how you're going to appeal the most clicks, the most conversions with your ad, the most traffic, because people want to know point B. A lot of people want to explain or just give them straight shot the physical, elements of what they're selling. Like, people don't want to know that you're selling a course. They want to know what the course can do for them. They want to know how their life will change after they take your course. They want to know, how that home, they don't care what home it is right now. They want to know how their life will be different a year from now in a new, gorgeous, beautiful home that they own. So just people need to think about that a little bit more and put themselves in the shoes of their clients, because that's what's going to help them convert higher.
Do you think that video trumps still photos when it comes to Facebook ads?
Absolutely. Video will always convert higher. However, do not let that deter you, because this is a big thing. People feel like, oh my God, I don't have a, Hollywood studio production in my house. Like, I can't do this. You guys, Instagram stories convert so well. And what's beautiful about it is you can pick up your phone and you can just shoot a 10, 15-second video of yourself talking in wherever you are. And as long as the message can resonate with what people want to hear, you can run that as an only Instagram story ad and Facebook story ad, and it can convert extremely well. So just keep it simple, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. It works phenomenally. Don't overthink it. Image still converts high, but you just have to remember, what I said earlier, it has to be relatable to your clients' wants and needs, not just what you have to offer.
That's a great explanation. This is why I had you on. And I don't even know you. I just knew you were going to be good and straight up, because those are the only people I have on. So I noticed a pattern, especially with, solo entrepreneurs, small business owners, in the ads where we call it, in the ad word, long tail format, meaning there's a lot of text in the ad, unlike, most corporate campaigns where you're keeping it really, headline, tagline based. So
Yes.
obviously there's a reason why there's a lot of text in these ads. It must convert better, right?
Yes. So with personal brands, and these solopreneurs, I always recommend to story tell. It will resonate more with your consumer. It will, or your, future client. It will help show and craft your story, because the big corporations that I work with, that you've worked with, they don't necessarily need to prove who their brand is. They're already established in that sense. So, very just hit punch, call to action, strong headline, it'll work because they're not concerned with the branding aspect. They're more concerned with that one promotional offer or, seasonal product, whatever it is. For solopreneurs, you're still in that building your brand phase. So you really want to convey it in a way that's going to show your personality and your story. From human to human, this is no B2B anymore. Like, this is C to C, really. This is, or business, personal brand to consumer. They want to work with you. So you need to show them what makes you different. Unless, like I said, you're pushing e-commerce where it's more of like drop shipping, maybe you don't necessarily need to connect with what your product is, then it doesn't really relate. But for the most part, like I think for everyone here who'd be listening, you want to brand yourself, and by doing so, use long captions. And by Facebook ad, keep in mind we are also talking about Instagram ads. I always have to let people know that.
Do me a favor and turn off your video because we're getting the connection isn't as good. Okay. Because I don't want anyone to miss anything that you're saying.
Okay.
So here's what I also noticed is that when you just run Instagram only ads, the cost seems to increase and the conversion isn't as high. So do you recommend people doing separate campaigns for Facebook and Instagram, or combining the ad with both and letting Facebook figure out what works best?
So are you referring to using the business dashboard, or are you referring to promoting a post on Instagram?
You're still cutting in and out, which is not good.
Uh-oh.
So,
did you hear what I said?
Well, we only got part of it, but I think I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is, if you go into Facebook Business Manager, right, you could have Facebook select where your ads display, because based on what is doing best. So your ad's going to display more on Facebook than Instagram. Or is it better to separate it yourself? I'm running a Facebook only campaign and then an Instagram only campaign.
I would, especially if you're, a little newer to the game, I would select both and let Facebook decide for you which one your audience is really converting more in. Once you get a little more advanced, you can then split test and do one with just Facebook and one with just Instagram, and then compare the two.
That's really good feedback. And like she said in the beginning, you guys, just start off simple. Don't freak out and be like, oh my God, look at all these bells and whistles. I can't even start without having them all. Because
exactly,
you don't have to go that deep with it. So I want to go back to something you mentioned in terms of e-commerce. You were saying that you can do a Facebook ad strategy if you have items you're selling that are like below the $50 mark. So a lot of my audience have ebooks for $9.99 and things like that.
Oh, yes. Perfect. So yes, you can absolutely run a purchase ad directly to that. But I will tell you this, it will convert a lot higher if you are shooting that ad over to a warm audience. And by warm audience, it's either a lookalike that you've created that's you already know is qualified with those interests, or retargeting people who have already visited your site, or retarget people who have already engaged with you on Instagram or Facebook.
And you can target your actual own audience, meaning your own followers that you already have.
Yes. Too. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So you will convert very high, especially on a low ticket item like that. Serving that ad to those people versus a cold audience. However, at that price point, if you have your targeting set up correctly, you can still sell to a cold audience if they are, if they have that need, especially at that low ticket price.
If you have, right, if you like, and what she means by that is an audience selection, you have to know your ideal client first. If you don't know your ideal client, your ideal customer, you're going to waste a lot of money. So you need to think about, what is it they search about? What is it they love? Where do they live? Right?
Oh, yes. What you have to really get into their shoes. And I always recommend, before diving into the dashboard and getting all, flustered, really survey some of the ideal people that you would love to sell to, even if it's friends and family. Like, hey, would you be interested in this? Let me ask you a few questions. Who do you find to be an influence out there? What books do you read? What podcast do you listen to? Like, who out there, you need to really uncover what that person likes, because that's the power of Facebook. You can literally target almost anybody. I mean, this is why Zuckerberg is always on trial, right? He has so much information on us, right. But use that to your advantage. I really see in the next maybe 20 years, maybe less, we're not going to be able to have access to all of this data that we're able to monetize now. So go in and really find out what their interests are so that you can target them and you can make that money.
So for people who are, I teach people also how to incorporate passive income streams into their business, right? So they're not totally dependent on one-on-one clients or a job or whatever for money, or a man or a woman for money, for that matter. Exactly. And I know you share a similar passion to that. And I heard you say that, you're in e-commerce yourself. So for people who are into affiliate marketing or even network marketing, how could Facebook ads help them?
Oh my goodness, they could help them make so much money by reaching so many more people. So with any passive income stream, as long as you have a really smart funnel set up, and just to briefly go over what a funnel is, because I'm surprised and shocked at how many people actually ask what is a funnel? Maybe they've heard the term, maybe they haven't, they don't quite understand. A funnel is the process in which a stranger basically becomes a customer, but in a really planned out way, right? In a way that you are able to control from beginning to end. So how are you alluding them to what it is that you have to begin with? Remember, we continue to discuss, you're not going to go straight to purchase. How are you going to warm them up, right? How are you going to start on this first date knowing you want to marry this guy or, girl, and say, how are we going to take this from this blind date to the end? So you want to pull them in with an offer, right? With whatever offer it is, even if it's e-commerce, you want to set up your funnel. So the next step is encouraging them to take that next move, whether it's add to cart, whether it's now, watch this webinar, whatever it is. The next step in the funnel will be purchase. And by setting up your funnel strategically in Facebook ads, the manager, you can now generate passive income. Since we've been on the phone, my business partner and I in e-commerce have been having this Shopify, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. This is something that we have set up the funnel for, and created an additional stream of income all through Facebook ads. So I take about 30 minutes a day. I go in and I check how the ad is going, how it's optimizing. And anyone, almost in any business, can do the same thing. Even like you said, with the high ticket, with the coaches that have courses, you can still generate course sales without having to, get the folks on the phone and run the first hour strategy call. It's good if it's working for you, but if you're sick and tired of that, if you want to set up a smart Facebook ad campaign to just generate passive income, you can totally do that. But your Facebook ads has to be set up correctly.
Yeah. And if it's like she said, I like your rule of, if it's under $50, right, and you're selling something that's under $50, you can have it go directly to that. Maybe you have like a line of tank tops or whatever, or a
Yes,
hat or
yes,
cute hats that your target audience would like love, or coffee mugs or whatever it is.
yes,
Then you can go direct. But if you have a high ticket affiliate, right? Then
yes.
it's the same principle, right? Then you need to take them through a funnel. What about like network marketing companies where people want to try to build, their network marketing team? Do you
hmm
think that there's any way to do that logistically when it comes to Facebook ads?
Absolutely, absolutely. The MLM and the network marketers that have taken my course have realized how easily they can be basically automating their business. So the only difference that I say they really have to uncover before taking this next step in doing so is, what is your process? How do you sell people currently? Do they have to be qualified on the phone with you? Is there any sort of way that we can, I help my students craft their business automation so that they can think, well, maybe I don't need to get them on the phone. Maybe I can run an ad to get them to fill out this pre-qualification form to make sure that they're even eligible, right? And creating that urgency and that push and really selling them along the lines, maybe with an email sequence, maybe with whatever that process is. You have to really analyze what you do to sell people and say, how can I make this easier for myself? And Facebook ads really can transform that in almost any business. So anyone who sells like that, like you said, the MLM, the affiliate, they can be making a lot more, generating a lot more business if they were just to kind of take a step back and think how they can automate certain aspects of their process, and then set up a smart Facebook ads campaign to basically do the heavy lifting for them.
Love it. Is it an evergreen course, or is it a group that has open and closing dates?
That's a great question. My enrollment, I always have open and closing dates for this reason. Number one, being an entrepreneur, this is not the only thing that I do. I do have a lot of different projects. I do travel a lot. And one unique thing about my coaching is that I love to go live with my students once a week. So it is evergreen, which means that people can access my course at any time. However, I have specific dates where I go live. And that's when I really ramp up my launches, because I like for each and every one of my students to have access to me. It's about an hour a week, and it's a Q&A based on the program that does live online. All the material is stored for them to access at any time. However, they do have me live for 1 hour a week where we go over the material. And I mean, I get as deep as, sharing screens and helping people navigate. I'm a big team viewer user. So helping people navigate, because I understand how, heavy this Facebook ads system can really seem to people, especially at first. So I like to have that accessibility with my students. So it's a little mix of both. I'd say it's a good mix. They can access it at any time, but I do like to be live with everyone so they can have that, that intimate um, coaching from me. It makes a big difference.
I completely agree. What about the tech element, right? Because I could see someone understanding your theory and your best process and recommendations, but then it's the tech stuff that puts people at a standstill. So what do you recommend for people who actually, maybe they've done your course or another course, or they actually get it, right? They understand how this works, but they're kind of stuck with all the tech stuff. What do you recommend? Should they hire someone?
Yeah, so with the tech stuff, that's a big major part of my course. We knock down all of the either misconceptions or real problems that people come across and say, this seems a little techie. Okay, let's walk through this. What exactly is it about this part of the process that is kind of throwing you off? Because remember, Facebook is a self-serve platform, which means that anyone can do it. And that's why I focus the whole entire first module 1 and 2 in my program is breaking down all of those, misconceptions about how techie it really is. It's really not a lot of the planning that you do prior to launching your ad campaign, all of my worksheets and tools and resources that I give and the homeworks, it's really about making sure that you know what you're going in for. So when we open that door, you know exactly what you're walking into. You're not like overwhelmed with all of this foreign language. So that is another major reason why I do go live, because I understand as much as they can learn, it can still be like, well, I won't really understand how easy this is, Lorell, until I get in there. So I like for them to be able to have me there just in case they come across. But the tech doesn't usually lie within after people take my course, it's not, the issues aren't within Facebook Business Manager. It's more like their individual CRM systems. And, they're like, how do I connect this? Or my funnel, where do I go from here? And I give everybody my automation tools, for them to be able to connect it. Because, every business is different. Everybody uses a different payroll system. Everyone uses a different CRM, maybe a different fulfillment tool that they have. So I would say that the tech within Facebook Business Manager is addressed majorly in my course. Everything else is just extra.
Super helpful. And if you guys are loving this episode and the information that you're learning today, straight from the source in a straight up way, making all the shit simple as hell, that's my whole jam. Take a screenshot and tag us, post it, obviously, and tag us at ProjectME with Tiffany and at Lorell Lane, and we will definitely reach out and say hi to you. I'm sure if you DM her or me, if you ask me a question that I can't answer, I will for sure give you her Instagram, which is the best way to reach her at, and me as well. So then you can ask her directly. So I'm going to end on the $5 million question, and it's expectations. So what is a fair and reasonable expectation in terms of I do $10 of ad spend, and I do it in a strategic way, and I have the video and I have all the great elements. Would it be fair am I going to make double my money back? I mean, is there any sort of frame of reference?
I love this question. I love how real you are. I love how I had no idea you were going to ask this, but this is one of my favorite questions. The Social Sales Lab was originally called 3X Social Sales Lab for a reason. When I attach my personal brand to something, I'm very particular about my reputation, and I would not have put the 3X attached to that name had it not been legit. My standard, my go-to for anyone out there is you should be generating a 1 to 3 return on your ad spend. If you are not, you need to shut that bad boy off. It's not, I understand some people may say, well, hey, if I get $2, and I put $1 in, that's great. And it is. If you're new and that's great. However, a good benchmark is 1 to 3. And what I mean by those of you out there who are selling high ticket items where you're like, what do you mean? I'm not going to, put in $1, and make $3. My course is $1,000. I get it. Totally get it. What I mean by that is you really have to understand your business and what each lead means to you. What is the value of each lead? What is your conversion rate? If you were to turn on an ad with my course and we set this bad boy up, right? And you're putting in $10 and you're getting, let's just say 30 leads from that. What is your conversion rate? Could you close, I don't know, even one of them on your course? So if you were to close one of them and that generates $1,000 for you, is that successful after you spent, let's just say $10 or $30? Hell yeah. So we just need to make sure that we work our way backwards. And that's what I like to make sure I do with each and every one of my students, hence why we're live, hence why I give all of my own tools and spreadsheets to make sure that they understand the formula. Like, all right, Lorell, so we're going to spend $100 in ads this week. What am I going to make back? Well, we're going to make sure that you know how many sales you need to get to make that $300. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. Great sense. I love using analogies and like actual real numbers to break it down. What I always say when people say this to me is because I get asked, okay, well, I do, whether it's corporate or a solopreneur, it's okay, well, I spend $100 a week How much am I guaranteed to make back? Well, last time I checked, A, there's no guarantees in life or business.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And two, there's if it was a straight up guarantee right out of the gate without you having to test and see what works and tweak and refine, people would put all their 100% of their advertising budget into Facebook ads. Do you agree?
Yep, absolutely. And coming from the corporate media sales world, I mean, working with so many global companies and major networks, the number one motto out there is 50% of my advertising is working. And I don't know which 50% it is coming from. So even the big top guys that are spending multi-millions of dollars, that's what they say. With Facebook ads, I love it because it allows you to really go in and see which ad set is working, which one is generating a purchase, which one is generating leads. And that way you can quickly go in and determine you're becoming a marketer. If you're a business owner, if you have anything to sell, you have to become a marketer, because if not, you're going to end up blowing a lot of cash on hiring other experts to put in the work for you. And then what's the reason behind that? You're not going to understand what they're doing or why they're doing it, so then you're just going to keep spending more and more. You have to, as a business owner, know every aspect of your business, and marketing is one of the most important ones. So yes, there is a testing period in the beginning, which is why I always say start low, $5 to $10 a day max. I don't care what you sell. However, keep in mind, if you're optimizing and doing it the right way, you should get a 1 to 3. But yeah, I should have kind of clarified on that. In the beginning, there is a bit of a testing, and you have to really just learn who your audience is. And they're really not going to learn that until you test some Facebook ads.
And by testing, she doesn't mean I ran the ad for a day and nothing happened, right?
Absolutely not. You cannot touch once you run an ad, make sure it's set up right, press publish, walk away. Okay, you can look at it, but don't touch anything for at least 48 hours, because Facebook is needing to learn who your audience is first. And the more that you touch it, the more that it's going to start over and refresh and take longer, and you're just going to blow more money. So set it up, get some really educate yourself from an expert who has actually done this before. Set it up and walk away. Check on it. You can peek. I always tell people we're peeking through the door. We're not touching anything. Okay, guys? So give it a few days, and then worst case scenario, maybe you lost $5 or $10, but you got a lot of info on who actually is interested in what you have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I love how you answer the question. You're answering things in like such a way that is so blunt that there's no way you guys can't get it, it makes me laugh because I don't even know you, but I just had a good gut feeling that you would explain things how I do. And it's freaking, it's beautiful. I love it. So
I love it.
I have to say this for you guys, because we all know whatever like niche we're in, we end up being obsessed with, looking at other people's accounts and other people's ads, right? So
yes.
These online coaches, and you'll see their ads and you'll see like, oh my God, her ad has 3,000 likes and 72 comments. Like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Well, when you guys see that, I want you to know it might have been the first time you saw that ad, but that doesn't mean that ad has been running for like 12 hours. That ad is likely, and correct me if I'm wrong, that ad is likely an evergreen ad, meaning they found what works, they're pouring cash on it, and they're not touching it, right?
Exactly. And also, I don't even know. I'll touch on this very briefly, guys, just because you're going to know my entire style is blunt. That's why all of my students say, oh my God, I get it so much more clear now because like you make it so understandable. So that is the case most of the time. I'd say 80% of the time, the ad is successful because it's been running for a while. They've tested, they've found what works, and they're really, investing in that because they know they're making that return. However, don't let that fool you. There are ways to generate engagement in an ad, PPE, post per engagement, that you can run an ad to just strictly show that social proofing to determine if it's really, generating interest. So there are particular campaigns that you can run. I don't want to throw people off, but just keep in mind, like I heard one of your other podcasts, Tiffany, where you were talking about the influencer marketing and how like 90% of it is bullshit, right? It's the same thing with the ads. Don't feel like because this has, 15,000 video views that you're like, oh my God, no one's going to watch my little video. that doesn't mean that everyone was who watched it like purchased from them. That's another strategy that you can use to really test and boost engagement, to then show to your audience, to say, whoa, look at this, like everyone's loving this. It happens more often with the e-com world than like the online coaching or product world, but just keep in mind that is an option. It doesn't necessarily mean these people are like killing it right now. But yes, so most of the time it was just an evergreen ad. Sometimes it could be fairly new, but that's the strategy they use to get that proof.
And I would rather have 10 likes and be making a shit ton of cash than 4,000 likes and not making much. I don't really care.
Yep. Exactly. Same thing with social media. I tell people all the time, like, oh, so many people, I have to throw this out there, Tiffany, I know you didn't ask, but it just reminded me, a lot of my students come in with the mentality that they cannot monetize their social media because they only have 50 followers, or 500 followers, or a few hundred followers, and they're like, no one knows me. Why would I even pay to run an ad when no one knows me? That's the beauty of an ad. It doesn't freaking matter how many followers you have. Like, no one has any idea how much money Tiffany or I are making with our following compared to people who probably have 100,000 and aren't making shit because they're not marketing themselves in the way that is controllable and sustainable, which is what I use Facebook ads for. It's a way that we can generate income regardless. Like, it doesn't have any relevance to your following. You're going direct to the people who are interested in what you have to offer and who will actually buy.
Love it. So glad you said that. I actually have a TV episode exactly on that.
Awesome.
It's how to make money whether you have, I think it's like 20 or 20,000 followers or whatever it is. But it's, I actually privately coach someone right now who has 500,000 followers and is broke as a joke. Yeah. So that doesn't mean that, someone is monetizing just because of that. And I also know people, who are making millions, and if you went to like for validation, you went over on their Instagram, right? And they might have like 1,780 followers, right?
Yep. So totally possible.
So it's not always what you think. And, just like, most of our parents taught us, like, don't judge a book by its cover, right?
Absolutely. And I tell everybody, likes don't buy. All right, who cares if you got 50 likes? Are they 50 people who are interested in what you have? Great. Follow up with them, determine who that audience is and keep it up, keep going, run an ad. Like, it's just, there's so many strategies you can use regardless how many followers you have. And that also goes to the newbies who boost. They're like, well, I got like 30 likes, but I guess it went well. What? 30 likes? Like, what are you talking? Who bought? How many sales did you close? How many purchases did you get? Likes don't buy. Leads buy. So, even if you're an e-com, don't let the lead word fool you. I'd say add to carts. If anybody's adding your product to carts, they're interested. But yeah, that's a great point.
Love having you on. Where is the best place? Because I know now people are like, I know my people and they're action takers and they're like, I need this damn course in my life. So where can they go straight up if they're too lazy to look at show notes, or if they're driving right now? Where can they go to get the course?
They can go directly to Instagram at Lorell Lane, LORELLLANE. You'll find me as soon as you see the link in bio. Just go ahead and click that, enter your name and email, and I'll follow up with you right away, or send me a DM. I am very active. Like, I am never too busy for any one of my followers who are interested in, at the end of the day, it's bettering their life. Yeah. Who are interested in growing their business, right? But we all want to better our life. We want a different lifestyle than what we have, and we want the best way to get there. And it's Facebook. I'm only talking from experience. So go ahead and shoot me a DM if you're interested. Again, my email is in my bio as well, but that's the easiest way to access me.
Well, I can tell you that I want one of my employees to take your course for sure, because I think that would help me, right? Because I don't want to take the time to teach all the things. So why not just get your course? So love having you on. You're freaking great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your honesty and your transparency, and not answering my questions with some vague, mysterious answer.
No, I'm
really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This was amazing.
So you guys, don't forget, take a screenshot, tag us, let us know you loved it so we can give you more of this amazing content.
Yes.
And, maybe we'll have her back on if you make it clear by posting screenshots and DMing us with if there's if there's enough questions, it might make sense to, to bring her back on. So we'd love to have you back.
Part 2. I would love that.
All right. Thanks, girl.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.